All right, how are y'all doing? DJ Football here. All right, let's jump into our next segment of how to dominate your fantasy league. This segment's going to be on knowing the rules of your league. So something that I would highly recommend you do before you jump in and start playing, especially before you draft, understand what kind of league you're playing in. Understand the rules. Are there modifications that your league manager has made? We're going to go over some of the basic pieces here to understand and some questions to ask to make sure that you're making smart decisions. So, first of all, what kind of league are you in? What kind of draft are you going to be in? Are you in a snake draft where it's going to go 1 through 10 and 10 through 1? Are you in an auction draft? We'll talk about that a little later, what those mean when we get to the draft day. But know what you're going to be in so that you've had time to practice and know how to get the players you want. Secondly, is this a standard league or is this PPR? So what PPR means is points per reception. So what that means is every time someone catches a ball, they get a point or a certain number of points. And if that's the case, wide receivers and receiving running backs are going to be far more valuable. You're going to get a lot more points out of them. So if you're in a PPR league, that will change the rankings of a lot of your players. Wide receivers would obviously start outranking a lot of different running backs. And some secondary tier running backs that catch the ball a lot would start outranking some of your first tier running backs. So know that piece. Most leagues are standard. PPRs are rare, but they're a lot of fun to play in. Just know that so that you can draft intelligently and not skip over a massive PPR guy that's going to do great for you. Awesome. Know your scoring settings. So your league manager has the ability to change the way each thing is scored. I was in leagues before where they add points for all kinds of crazy things, like yardage for throwing passes off the quarterback were escalated highly, so quarterbacks were way more valuable. Or kickoff returns, punt returns, defensive scores, are those counting as well? Are you getting points for kickoff returns? If you're getting points for kickoff and punt returns, the main guys that are returning punts for their teams and also play wide receiver positions or tight end positions, those would make them far more valuable. Like Antonio Brown, already a great player, but in a league that he's also getting returning yardage and returning touchdowns, wow, he's super valuable. So it would increase his value like crazy. So know that as well. Know the scoring. Your league manager should make it very obvious. I always, in my leagues, on the there's a welcome page that you can create. I always post any adjustments I've made to the scoring, any adjustments I've made to the league, so that it's super easy to know what you're getting yourself into, and you can have that discussion with your league manager. Excellent. Let's see. Let's talk about, make sure you understand what kind of league you're in. Are you in a standard or default league that will have a one quarterback, or does it have two quarterbacks that play every week? 2 running backs, 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers. Is there a flex position in there? Are you playing in a league that also includes defense? Those are called IDP leagues, or individual defensive player leagues. So there's default, where usually you just choose the defensive team, and then you choose your offensive players, individually offensive players, and then a defensive team, and also a kicker. Or are you playing in an IDP league? Now those can vary dramatically. You can either pick every single position, individual players, and get scored off of their individual performance, or you can usually set it so that you get cornerbacks and linebackers, and then also a team defense. So know what you're getting yourself into, because IDP leagues are super fun. I've played in them, but they're also far more they're far more time consuming. They take a lot more investment, because now you have to understand the skill level involved in the defense as well as the offense, and each individual player on the defense. If you're first starting, I would recommend you're in a default league. IDP leagues are for a higher skill tier, and they're a little more investing as well. You have to put a lot more time in to fully understand what you're getting yourself into. Excellent. There's lots of different rules that your league can have. There's a lot of different variations, like talking about when's the trade deadline, which stops you from being able to trade with other players, so that some players can't near the end of the season go, I'm not going to make it to the playoffs. Let me feed all of my all-stars to my buddy so that he wins, right? So there's a trade deadline, usually 4 or 5 weeks before the end of the season, so that there's none of that feeding players to other people. Is your league set up to veto certain trades by the manager or by the league itself? Is there cost involved? You can have cost involved to pull people off the waiver wire and to do trades. And so make sure you understand these rules before you get involved so that you can practice, understand what you're getting yourself into, and ultimately dominate in your fantasy league. All of these different settings are great. I think adjusting scoring is awesome. I think having an IDP league is awesome. I think all of these are great. Don't feel like variations are not okay or acceptable, because they're awesome. But if you understand them, you can take advantage of those settings rather than having them take advantage of you. So hopefully that was helpful. Love ya. Can't wait to see how good you do. And have a wonderful, wonderful season. All right, DJ Football out.